I always say you go somewhere for the destination, but you go back again and again for the experience that you had there. Now, the same thing applies to the services that you offer. And when it comes to making your customer experience exceptional and what it is that actually sets you apart, for me, it comes down to three main things. It's not the nice to haves or the added extras that you put on top. It's three, in broad terms, fundamentals that are going to help you to be able to set yourself apart. Now, you're probably thinking like, okay, well, yeah, well, why? Why does this matter? Your customer experience doesn't just apply to your clients on the receiving end of this. It's actually there to help you improve your business, but also enjoy the services that you're delivering. It's to help you increase profitability. It's to help you increase retention and therefore increasing the amount of revenue you have the ability to be able to gain. Because in reality, we all know that it's 5 times easier to sell to an existing client and cheaper than it is to acquire a new client that's never heard about you before. So from that perspective, being able to increase retention, being able to improve profitability, but also being able to catapult and increase growth while maintaining an absolutely outstanding reputation. Who wouldn't want to work with a business like that? So the first thing is probably fundamentally knowing who your customers are. And this doesn't mean just knowing their challenges and their pain points. This is knowing on a deep level what success looks like to them, what their blockers are, how they like to be supported, so that you know that you're tailoring your services to the right individuals, or you know that there's a market fit for the services that you have, but you're also able to qualify the right ones that you're going to love to work with. Not just the people that you think you want to work with on paper, the ones that actually light you up when they come through the door. And it works both ways. It's really looking at how can we add those details to ensure that the client that I'm working with is going to get success. We know exactly what they want. We know exactly what they need, and we can ensure that the steps of our service takes them. I was working with a client more recently, and they knew the clients that they wanted to work with, or they thought they wanted to work with. But actually, when mapping them out and then reviewing their clients, they found out that the clients they had been working with, although on paper they were their ideal client, when actually working with them, there was a lot of characteristics and challenges or blockages that the client had that just meant that it was so hard to be able to get anything done. The client didn't give them any information on time. There was a lot of areas of scope creep where the client I was working with actually ended up over delivering. The second thing is creating an experience or a way of delivering that is simple, clear, and easy to understand. The reason for this, complexity breeds complexity. So if you start adding so many extra layers of touch points or things that you need to do, it's so easy to lose track of where you are with a client. But it doesn't leave you confused. It often leaves them confused, not knowing why they actually came on board with you in the first place. If I think about an expedition and I'm going on an adventure and I'm trying to get to the summit of a mountain. Now, simple doesn't necessarily mean cutting out all the zigzags and going straight up the steepest part of the mountain, because often cutting corners isn't actually the easiest way to get there. But it's knowing so clearly what do you need to do in order to be able to get from the bottom of the mountain to the top. Like, what is that journey from A to B? And if you can articulate very, very clearly, this is exactly what we're going to go through, and this is exactly what I'm going to need from you, and this is exactly what we're going to be able to provide you in order to be able to get that result, you know that instead of your client saying, well, I just want to go straight to there, why can't I go straight to the summit? You know that you have the assurance that every touch point is going to be hit en route. You're going to hit base camp 1, 2, 3, and 4 before you reach the top of that peak. And there are going to be so many milestones and exciting adventures along the way that will be able to make that success at the top when they reach that summit ever so more exciting. But it means it's smooth. It means there's no points where you'd have to come up and back down because you've got altitude sickness, for example. You keep going and you can get there to the top. You know what you need to provide in order to be able to get there. And that final thing is all around consistent feedback and development loops. So how do we know that we are consistently delivering a better and better experience without actually asking the right questions and know what we need to develop further or refine further to be able to provide or enhance it even more. And when we look at those feedback loops, it doesn't necessarily mean that we need to add more, to over deliver more. It often could mean taking away to make some areas easier, or it could mean intentionally and proactively anticipating where the common pitfalls are at each stage. So we have the right feedback at each of those touch points. And let's use our example of the Basecamp again, where we're using Basecamp 1, Basecamp 2, Basecamp 3 before we reach the summit. Those are the points that after we've gone through that phase, we need to ask for feedback in order to know if there's any information that we've missed, what the feedback is at that phase. For example, if it's a branding project or a web development project, so the client actually is aligned with what you've delivered and what you've created before you're stepping into that next stage. Once you've got those feedback loops and you're understanding, oh, I didn't quite get this information. Why was it so hard for us to understand this market? Why wasn't this ad working as well as it could? And we're getting those constant feedback loops, both from the client, various stakeholders, and data. We can then start to develop that experience more and tweak and refine as we go, to be able to provide something that is absolutely exceptional. You can do this in so many ways. I've done this more recently with a client through surveys and then into client interviews. And we looked at website data and analytics, and we've continually been able to refine a program that now, before they've even launched their next membership cohort of their course in the new year, they've already got 5 signups already, with places going quicker day by day, and they're able to easily articulate what that value is, what that return on investment is, because they know from those clients what it is that they came to them for and what it is that they're looking for. They know what service it is that's simple to and easy for them to understand and articulate and follow along with, and then how they can make that better for them. If that is something that you aren't sure quite of what part it is that you need right now, let me know in the comments. What's your challenge right now? And if you would like some more support on this, get in touch.